Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rich Longo, and I'll be your host. Thank you for joining us for another Flycast Partners webinar. Today's webinar is actually an overview of the Bomgar appliance and its ITSM integration, presented by Bomgar's own Mike Sell and Adam White. First, I'd like to welcome Mike Sell. Mike Sell is the Director of Strategic Alliance at Bomgar. He has over 20 years in the IT service management industry as a customer consultant, solutions engineer. He directs the activities of Bomgar's U.S. system integration partners and the partnerships with IT service management platform vendors by seeking ways to optimize and integrate remote support within the IT operational environment. Then we have Bomgar's own Adam White. He has been a senior solutions engineer at Bomgar for almost 12 years. His knowledge of the appliance and its abilities are second to none, and Adam has played an important role educating folks on the importance of Bomgar on its many roles of IT. Let me introduce a little bit about Flycast Partners to you. We provide IT service management and asset management consulting to organizations across North America. Our clients remain ahead of the curve in technology adoption while maintaining the rock-solid principles of ITIL and practical focused projects. Our website is always monitored by our team of well-trained ITSM specialists, and we encourage you to visit them at www.flycastpartners.com, or feel free to reach out and call us directly at 844-FLYCAST. This is just one of our many weekly webinars, and we encourage you to utilize our website for researching industry white paper, training that is available from IT to ITIL, assistance with any professional services that you need, and a new ITSM solution finder. With that being said, I'm going to turn the presentation over to Mr. Mike Sell of Bomgar. Thank you for joining us today, Mike.
Thank you, Rich, and thank you for the kind introduction, and welcome everybody. Appreciate the opportunity to chat with you a little bit today about remote support, and particularly its impact and integrating it to IT service management platforms. Just briefly, for those not familiar with Bomgar's been in business. You heard that Adam's been on board for nearly 12 years. We're a nearly 12-year-old company, so he's been with us since the beginning. But we have just surpassed 9,000 customers around the world. Think of us as a second-generation remote support solution. First-generation support solutions typically required an agent to be installed. We do operate agentlessly. We also work off-network, meaning if you're traveling and your VPN is down, with some of the first-generation technologies, the support team's still going to provide the best support that they can, but they're asking questions like open control panel, tell me what you see. But with Bomgar, as long as you have internet connectivity, we can securely take over control of the device. Now, those devices are not limited to Wintel. It's Windows, Linux, Macintosh. We also provide remote support for mobile platforms, point-of-sales cash registers, and kiosks. Got a very passionate user base with a Net Promoter Score of 65. That's a really high score for would you recommend this product or service to a friend, and it really has to do with our appliance-based architecture where you essentially plug it in and it works. And as you see on the bottom, we have some very widely known customers, some of the most secure locations in the world using our technology. And when it comes to ITSM platforms, we do have a number of those providers using our technology themselves. So why are we here? We're really here to talk about improving the overall support experience and driving out efficiencies in the support operations. ITSM integration to remote support can be a key driver for that. This particular slide, if you're not familiar with MetricNet is an organization that does benchmarks. So benchmark a service desk team, desktop support, customer support teams. They don't care if you're using ServiceNow, HP Service Manager, BMC. It really doesn't matter. They're really just looking at performance. They've got tremendous amounts of data. In particular, one of the slides I like that they show, and you're probably all familiar with this, and it's almost common sense. The customer satisfaction, the perceived satisfaction that the business receives from all of IT is primarily driven from the service desk and desktop support, because those are the people that they the employees commonly interact with. So my contention is the focus should be on enabling the service desk and desktop support teams to do their jobs faster, easier, and better. And what better way to do that than to integrate incident management and remote shattering tools? And again, whether you're using VMCs or Sharewell, I think what's interesting on this particular slide is the fact that the must-have technologies as ranked by you and the data coming from HDI neck to neck, in fact, out-shadowing, pun intended, incident management systems is remote shattering tools. And despite that, what organizations sometimes forget about is they don't look at remote support as really an integral part of their process, and they should and could. So when I talk about integration, it's not just a technology integration, but it's also a process integration. Leveraging remote support earlier in the process, as an example, can save tremendous amounts of money. It can improve first contact resolution rates. There's lots of benefits that come from that. Again, almost common sense. What's nice to see from MetricNet is empirical data that shows things that we know already. I'm just going to go back and forth between these two slides. We all know that if you contact a customer support team or an internal service desk, if you get your issue resolved on first call, you're happy. If the ticket is assigned to somebody else and you have to wait for someone to call you back, you're not quite so happy. And of course, speed to repair drives customer satisfaction. And when you integrate remote support, making it available to all the key members, what you'll find is you're able to drive, those are two KPIs that we dramatically affect. The way that this works, simply put, is the support representative can be on any type of device. You could be also off-network at a Starbucks on a public Wi-Fi network on your iPad and securely authenticate to Bomgar, be able to get onto the network and take control of a user's device. Again, we don't require an agent when the customer needs help. But you could also jump onto a server or a kiosk or a cash register from any device that the support representative has, again, whether it's Windows or Mac, Linux, etc. The notion here is really providing support as quickly as possible remotely and being able to take that information and tie it back into the incident record. So here again, we're talking about efficiencies and how we can make that experience better. I contend not just for the customer, but also the support rep. If your support reps are happy with the tools and are happy with the process, they're generally happy with people, and we all know that a pleasant support rep also provides better service. So there's some soft benefits of integrating remote support that come with it as well. But let's take a look at a particular example. This is an actual customer of ours where for their process around virus issues presented a significant percentage of their volume. In the traditional phone support model, Tier 1 acted more as a triage, collecting information, basic troubleshooting, and then escalating to desktop support. The desktop support team would review the ticket, call the customer back for additional details, and then determine a time to go to the computer. The duration was 59 minutes, and the customer invested close to 51 minutes. What we encouraged them to do was integrate with ITSM as well as push a web-based model. And what they're able to do is drive the customers through chat or phone as well, and you'll see that in the demo that I'm going to do here shortly. You utilize remote support and either resolve or bring in a desktop support rep into the remote session. So leveraging collaboration, in other words, don't assign, but rather collaborate with the support team. So it all could be done remotely, and it reduced the duration to 26 minutes. The customer investment was down to 28 minutes, and the cost per call dropped from $85 to $36. This also drove first contact resolution and, of course, improved the customer experience. And here's another example. We had one of our customers present at one of their user group meetings, and what they talked about, there's a lot of information that was presented, but the top takeaways was that integration saved, in their case, 3 minutes per incident. Now, if you're a small shop, on average, by the way, our customers tell us that integrating with their ITSM platform saves anywhere from 1 to 3 minutes. If you're a very small shop, saving a minute, who cares? It's really not a big deal. But if it's a large call center you're dealing with, and we can potentially, just by integration, forget about the benefits of remote support, but if you can save 1 minute per incident on a particular call center environment, we're talking about significant amounts of savings and monies. The other aspect to consider as well, again, going back to MetricNet, they've done thousands of benchmarks with their customers, and this just gives a scatter diagram of the different data points that they were able to collect and seeing what the effect of remote support software has on first-level resolution. And here you're able to see a 16% improvement simply by better leveraging remote support. So with that, we could demo any number of technologies, but we've got a good use case where we can show this with Remedy. And so what I'm going to do is turn this over to Adam, and Adam's going to go through the presentation. But again, keep in mind that we have a very flexible platform and a number of integrations available. So if you're using BMC footprints, if you're using Remedy Force, or in this case, Remedy, or ShareWell, name them. We have integrations, and the use cases are very, very, very similar. But it's all about making that end-user experience more efficient, but also making it easier for the technician to do their jobs.
And before Adam gets started, I do want to remind everyone, I forgot to mention in the beginning, that we are taking questions during this presentation today. So if you'll go ahead and type your questions into me, I'll go ahead and ask Adam and Mike, and we'll try to get them answered for you today. So throughout the presentation, go ahead and send your questions, and we'll try and get them answered.
Okay, great. Well, thanks for your time, everyone. Once again, this is Adam White, Senior Solutions Engineer with Bomgar. I'll be walking through some slides that highlight the Remedy integration. And again, these are use cases that are available in a number of integrations, but wanted to show kind of both sides of the equation, an end-user initiated support scenario, and then after that, a representative initiated support scenario. So what we're looking at here is the ability for the customer to actually start a Bomgar session and in the context of an incident here. So the customer can navigate to the main SRM page here inside of Remedy and can either request a new incident or open an existing one. So again, if an incident is not already open, the customer would be able to do so. And one of the things that you'll notice here in the upper right-hand corner is in the Details tab, the customer has the ability to click Get Support Now. And so, again, directly from kind of this point of context of the incident, the customer is able to request support. And what will happen as a result of that, that's just leveraging a Bomgar API to actually start a chat session directly from the customer system to the service desk. So this is going to be a browser-based session. It doesn't matter, what browser is the default of the customers. It's just going to open on their side, create an outbound 443, HTTPS connection from the customer system directly to the Bomgar appliance, where the representative would be logged in and available to assist the end user. And what we'll notice is that this is actually the representative experience that we're seeing here. So when the customer clicks that Get Support Now and that browser window pops up on the customer side, at the same time, a new session assignment alert, which is what we see here, will pop up for the representative. And so there will be some context of who the customer is, the platform that they're coming from, the time in queue, IP address, and then also this external key. So the external key is going to essentially associate this Bomgar session to that incident inside of Remedy. So when the representative accepts this session, what we'll notice is that a new tab has populated in the representative console. So in Bomgar, you can actually work with multiple customers simultaneously, and those will just show as tabs across the top of the interface. And there are a couple of things that the representative can do while interacting with the customer. The representative and customer can chat with one another through the whole of the experience. There's the ability for the representative to send through some canned messages. So these might be greetings, closings, the solutions to frequently seen problems, you know, a link, for example. And so you're able to easily chat with the customer. And there's also a custom link button, which allows actually the representative to go to the associated remedy incident. So in this case, where the customer is initiating the session, you certainly can see the external key, but kind of think of that custom link button as a breadcrumb back to the incident inside of remedy, so the representative can gain context. This is also helpful in situations where you know, in Bomgar, you can actually transfer or share sessions to other representatives. So if you are a representative who has had a session shared with them, this is particularly useful as well because you can click that single button and see the incident that the customer has opened, that the initial representative might have opened, and now you have the ability through a single button click to go back to that incident in a browser through that custom link button. Okay, so the representative can reassign the incident, validate customer info here, and again, this is an example of clicking that custom link button and this taking you back to the appropriate incident inside of remedy, so you can input work notes, you know, whatever the case may be, directly from that link. And there's the ability for the representative to prompt the customer for screen sharing. So what we've talked about thus far is a chat session where the representative and customer are able to chat with one another. There's also the ability as a part of that to seamlessly ask the customer for full control of their computer. You can also do view-only in environments where you might want to just do view-only support, so that's an option as well. And so the customer would be able to accept this session. Bomgar would run a small client on their system, so as a part of that accept dialog, there's going to be an option to run or save a small client. That client does not require admin rights on the side of the customer. It doesn't require any dependencies like Java, ActiveX, Flash. It's going to deliver a binary file that the customer can just run. And this will, again, establish that outbound connection from their system, not as a browser window this time, you'll notice, but as a client that is actually running on their machine due to that ad hoc client delivery. So the session, you know, goes kind of seamlessly between that browser-based chat and into this new customer client window. So the representative at this point is now able to work with the customer's system. They can transfer files, they can pull system information. The representative can interact with the command shell interface of the customer's machine, and obviously to screen share and actually work with their system directly to help them solve the issue. One of the things that you'll notice in this window, there's kind of a little yellow bar across the top that says the session is running in a limited user context. One thing that I want to mention is you have the ability to actually elevate the session, so you can either prompt the customer to go through a UAC prompt, or the representative can input credentials. So if this is a known device where you might have local or some kind of admin credentials, a service account, for example, you would have the ability to elevate Bomgar as well if you like. And so after resolving the issue, the technician can end the session. There's also the ability for the customer to end the session on their customer client at any point if desired. And after the session is ended, it's possible for both the representative and customer to receive an exit survey. So you can customize those surveys. You can ask questions in a variety of ways. And you'll notice that there's a notification to the customer that the session is now ended. Your computer can no longer be controlled or accessed using Bomgar. So there's the ability to customize these messages and really to define kind of what that end user experience looks like both while the session is in progress and post-session. Okay. As I mentioned, the technician can also receive a representative exit survey, and this is something, again, that you're able to customize Maybe you're asking the customer, was your issue resolved? You're asking the representative, did you resolve the issue? And if there's a disparity there, there might be some opportunity for follow-up, okay? Now, as a part of this session and the way it was started through that Get Support Now option, Bomgar, as I mentioned, it's going to create a programmatic relationship between that Bomgar session and the incident inside of Remedy. So you would have the ability to go back into the incident itself and look at a historic record of that session. So the Bomgar appliance is going to do the job of facilitating these sessions, but also capturing an audit log. And part of what the integration gets you is that the session details will flow back into the incident post-session. So again, from an audit standpoint, from training, you can go back in and look at what those interactions have been between your representatives and your customers. Okay. Session notes, chat transcripts, session recording. So Bomgar will actually capture a full flash video of the entirety of the session, and that's something that typically would be a link back out to the appliance or to a long-term repository, and Remedy would give you the ability to kind of link out to that from the appropriate session record. Okay. And we'll also look at a representative-initiated support session. So just like the customer would be able to, from an incident, for example, say get support now, if the scenario is the customer has called into the service desk and there's a relationship, a working relationship already between a representative and a customer. Maybe the representative is the one that has created a ticket or an incident, excuse me, and inside of the incident, there's the ability for the representative to generate a small key to actually start a session with the customer. So the representative would be able to verbally communicate a 7-digit key or send that as an email to the customer, and that's exactly what we see here, that 7-digit key, or again, the ability to say email URL. And so let's just say I'm on the phone with a customer and I generate that session key inside of Remedy. If I communicate that to the customer, I can direct them to the support portal that we're using. And what you're seeing here is kind of a default Bomgar support portal. You have the ability to brand this and customize this page for your look and feel, for the ways that you want sessions to be initiated. And so the customer would be able to enter that key. Again, it would, it's exactly the same process that we're going through. It's just kind of a different way of initiating the session or who actually is kind of starting the session. In this case, representative is generating a session key. Customer is using that session key to start the session, but it's the same type of file that is being downloaded and is able to run on the side of the customer system. So again, they run that small piece of software. They, in this case, instead of going to kind of a queue of representatives, though, because the representative generated the key, actually the customer is placed into a session with the specific representative that generated that session key. Okay, so now the representative can work with the customer system just as before, and they can transfer files, they can pull system information, they can work with the command shell, and you can have these items automatically prompt the customer, or you can kind of set a single prompt, if you like, where the representative, once the session starts and the customer accepts the session, these items are automatically allowed for the representative to interact with. So you have a lot of latitude there on what the representative experience is, what the customer experience is inside of the session itself. And again, after resolving the issue, the representative can end the session, and session details are automatically recorded back into Remedy, just as with the Get Support Now option. So really, the ability to quickly start sessions from the context of an incident, either as the representative or customer, and then the ability for an audit log of that information to flow back into the incident post-session can really help with after-call work for a representative. A couple of statistics here, service management integration reduced manual work by over 75%. And a part of that, again, is that detail that is taken back into the incident post-session can really help the representative reduce the amount of work that they're doing for a given session. Automation decreased time per incident by 3 minutes, so the ability to start these sessions from the point of context of an incident and request support in real time, or have a representative work with you directly to help start a session can reduce those per incident times pretty significantly. And then implementation of Bomgar increased chat by around 200%. And these are real world numbers that we've gathered from our customers and from the industry in using Bomgar and in integrating Bomgar. And the efficiency of a given representative can be increased hugely because you have the ability to chat with multiple customers simultaneously, to work through multiple incidents at a given time, and not in kind of that serial way of just a single phone call, single customer. You have the ability to expand that a bit by leveraging chat. So I'll hand things back over now for any questions that we might have and any follow-up.
We actually do have a question for either Mike or Adam. This comes from Andre. Does this product support Chromebooks?
Andre, that's a good question, and we do have mobile clients in the respective app stores. So what you can do from a support standpoint varies a little bit based on the version of operating system in Android or iOS. But from an Android perspective, we do have both a representative console and a customer client in the app store. So you would be able to provide support from an Android device and provide support to an Android device as well. And again, some of what you're able to do while interacting with that device might vary by the kind of environmental factors of the system, but at the very least, you should be able to chat, to transfer files, to pull system information, to allow the customer to actually share a screenshot of what they might be seeing on their system directly with the representative if that particular operating system doesn't allow full control, for example. Great question.
Okay, and I don't see any other questions from anyone else. It was just Andre there. With that being said, I do appreciate your time, Adam and Mike Sell, both. Thank you for putting on this presentation for us today. If you do find that you have a question that was not answered with today's presentation, please reach out to us at 844-FLYCAST or email us, or go online and chat with our ITSM specialists on our chat box. We'll be more than happy to help you. So I do encourage you to reach out to us, 844-FLYCAST, and on behalf of Flycast partners, I want to wish everyone a great week and weekend. Thank you again.